Xearth, the greatest APC of Legend League champion review. This week we've got the reworked Xerath. Is he the skillful new APC of season 4 or just a scrub? Yo, I only play APC because it's the most skillful. Legend League skill strategy initiate. So, Xerath's Q. Arcane Pull. First cast, his start. So when you press Q, he will be preparing to launch a beam of damage for maximum. Oh my god! Pulse Arcanish. When he's pressed that once for 1.5 seconds, that range is going to be increasing, and as it increases, his movement speed will decrease. But it's not. I've played this, and it can allow for some skillful plays, so I think it's good. I think it's skillful. It's barely noticeable. I think that should be changed a bit, and the range increases a lot. Okay, it does. It's like twice the range. So and then when you press Q again, it will launch the beam. Now you gotta remember that the longer you wait for it, it's not going to increase its damage. So just as soon as it's in range, press Q again. That's a tip for the newbies. For his W, oh by the way, his Q starts off with a 9-second cooldown, and the cost is 9. The cost starts off with 80 mana. Got a 75% AP ratio, so that's pretty good late game. The base damage is pretty low, and that's why he's not amazing early game or the whole through game. I'll talk about that later. For his W, it launches like a circle of beam, okay? Here's a description. Xerath calls down a blast of arcane energy, which strikes after a 0.5 second delay, dealing magic damage and slowing enemies in the target radius, like in the middle of it, for 2.5 seconds, 10% movement speed, so that's nothing really. So the enemies hit are slowed, okay? So, I might have a video, it's just it's got good range, 1100 range, so yeah, good, like a circle, a bit like Lux's, but the slow is very rubbish. The damage is, the base damage is low, the AP ratio is 60%, but, now remember this, skillful people, if you aim that W, and the enemy will hit it in the center of it, it will do 90% AP scaling with extra base damage, and the slow will be like 60%. So if you are skillful and you hit that W and it hits them right in the middle, then you'll be wrecking, okay? That's a lot of wreckage. 90% AP ratio, yes mate, skill. So just aim that W and it's GG. I'd probably consider maxing your W, or just keep on remembering to hit it, and you'll be wrecking. Now the E is his stun ability. Now again, the base damage is the same, is actually quite high, but the AP ratio is pathetic. Okay, when I say the base damage is high, that's only high considering the early game, and because you don't max that, the base damage it won't do a lot of damage, will it? But maybe level 1, if that is quite a lot of damage, that's like the same amount as his Q, like in the early levels. So I'd consider maxing that second maybe. And what the actual ability is, it fires a circle. It reminds me of another game that I played. It travels really slow. It's slower than Morgana's and Lux's stun thing, and it will only stun them by between less than 1 second or 2 seconds in the whole game. So late game for 2 seconds, like when it's maxed out. So the stun, it's not amazing. Like, you know what the stun's actually good for? When you stun it, then you can land your other abilities, like your W. So when you stun, then you can land your W nice and do that extra damage, you know. And land is passive, so he gets loads of mana, which I'll talk about that in a minute. Alright, his ultimate. Now his ultimate is very controversial, okay? I think Riot were fucking about when he added his ult, because it's good actually. People think that's rubbish, and they think it doesn't make sense, but it has a 5,600 range, which is like Ligs. It's like Ziggs. The damage let's have a look at this mate. So he fires 3 mini shots. The radius is really small, so you gotta be really skillful when you aim for it. It's really hard actually. It's like mini Ezreal. But each blob is only 43% AP scaling. So if you want a lot of damage, you gotta hit them all, you know. It's not OP or anything. Base damage is pretty fucking low as well. The cooldown for his ult is alright. It starts off with 130 seconds. But yeah, it fires 3. Now you have to fire them straight away, otherwise the ult will go away. You gotta aim it straight away. That's why it's pretty hard to get them all hit, because when you fire 1, you gotta fire the other 2 straight away, otherwise the ult will go back on cooldown. It's a bit broken, I think. But just because it's got huge range, it doesn't mean you can do it. It's, you know what, it's actually more effective in short range. Just remember that. Like, you might think, oh, I'm just wasting it if I use it right now. Well, no, because then you'd be guaranteed those hits, especially if you land your E. So there's a lot of strategy in matters, okay? He's a good champion. Now, I think that's it. Also, his ultimate will reveal his location, so they'll basically know straight away that you're going to do your ult. It's like Elise's E. You can see when she's activated it, or everyone will see that and you look like a complete noob. The Xerath will look like a complete retard because, oh, look at this scrub. Oh, I didn't even hit any of them. But it's really hard to hit them from a long range, and when you can already see that it's activated. Yeah? So, I'm going to speak about his passive now. Xerath's passive is Mana Surge. I think this, let me tell you what it is. Every 12 seconds, Xerath's next basic attack will restore like a percentage of his mana. It's a lot of mana, and I think it's that great that you don't really need. Oh no, it just so it starts off with only 30 amount of money that you get back. It's also doubled if you hit it on an enemy. So if you land that E, hit them with basic, you get loads of mana back. Not loads, but a nice amount, like noticeable. Okay. Now, I think this passive isn't very good. You know why? I mean, it doesn't really do anything, does it? Just adds some sustain. I mean, the difference between Xerath and Brand isn't that much of a big difference on a broad scale. If you forget about the strategies, which you probably would forget, there's not much difference. And I think Xerath's passive doesn't change any new meta. Okay?
You might as well just get a moral
a bit of OP
pull down and just a
same with Brand, but Brand adds new meta, you know. Xerath, you're still gonna have to get a Chalice or a Tear, because you just can't get away with that. And in team fight, it's sort of good, but I don't like it. Alright, for my conclusion with Xerath is I think he's just not as good as Ezreal. I don't think he can wreck as hard, okay? And I don't think he's as stylish as the other champions. He just gets boring. I think his W is bland, and I think the particles are rubbish. Because when you actually hit it in the center, I don't know, it just doesn't feel like you actually hit it in the center. Like, it looks like it does a lot more damage, but it actually doesn't do much damage. I think there must be a bug, because I'm always skillful with it. But I'm gonna carry on maining AP Ezreal, but if I ever need a backup champ, I'll probably choose Vladimir and then Xerath. Because Xerath, there's just not much about him. I mean, his ult doesn't work very well. I think with a bit of mastering, he's quite OP. His ult is there's a lot of burst with his ult, but so there is with Syndra. And Syndra's stun is better, and Syndra's
slow, but you're forgetting about his range, man.
The overall damage of Syndra